Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to the channel where we carefully investigate the complex lives and often turbulent fortunes of the British royal family and those who move within their rarefied orbit. Before we begin this deeply unsettling account, if you enjoy these detailed examinations of historical and celebrity narratives, please take a moment to tap the like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss one of our comprehensive updates. Your support truly enables us to continue sharing these stories with you. Today, our focus turns to a figure who has spent decades navigating the treacherous currents of royal life, public scandal, and relentless media scrutiny. Sara Ferguson, the former Duchess of York, known affectionately to many as Fergie. The reports emerging about her current situation are stark and deeply troubling. We are hearing claims that the former wife of Prince Andrew is confronting a crisis of considerable magnitude, one that has left her in a state of profound fear about what the future may hold. According to those close to her, a distressing picture is taking shape, that of a woman anxiously waiting for what some sources describe as an angel to intervene and rescue her from a deeply troubling, possibly even dangerous predicament. It is a desperate appeal for salvation in the face of what appears to be an impending financial and social collapse. It is well known that the former Duchess has, in recent years, attempted to withdraw from the harsh glare of public attention. Yet, in an ironic twist, her presence in international headlines has remained stubbornly constant. Unfortunately, this continued visibility has little to do with triumphant charitable achievements or noteworthy literary successes. Instead, it is driven by a steady stream of scandal, and perhaps more painfully, a sequence of calculated snubs or outright exclusions from the very institutions she once belonged to. The royal family itself, along with numerous charities and organizations she previously supported with enthusiasm and high visibility. The severity of her emotional and financial state cannot be overstated. An insider, speaking under conditions of anonymity due to the delicate nature of the royal connections, recently claimed that the Duchess of York is now simply waiting for a miracle. This phrase alone reveals the degree to which she is perceived as unable to free herself from her situation through ordinary means. The source stressed that she is profoundly worried, overwhelmed by anxiety about her overall well-being and her ability to preserve even a fraction of the lifestyle she has spent a lifetime cultivating. At the heart of this crisis, according to a separate source who spoke with the investigative outlet Radar Online, lies her financial situation. Fergie, who is now 66 years old, is reportedly desperate to secure a benefactor to sustain her lifestyle. This is not a search for a modest retirement arrangement. It is a frantic, high-stakes effort to obtain the substantial financial resources needed to maintain the undeniably lavish existence she has carefully built and grown accustomed to for decades. This need has become sharply pronounced, following the formal loss of certain royal titles and privileges, paired with the alarming and ongoing decline of her personal finances. The pressure is immense. Sources reveal that the Duchess is increasingly panicked about her long-term financial prospects, particularly now that she has been unmistakably cast adrift from the familiar, though often complicated, financial structures that traditionally support senior, or even semi-senior, members of the royal household. The safety net, it appears, has been completely removed. According to these same insiders, the Duchess's next step is described as a highly calculated, though undeniably risky strategy. They assert that Fergie has now embarked on what they characterize as a desperate search for a wealthy partner. This is not simply a social pursuit. It is portrayed as a deliberate effort to secure a strong financial anchor. Those familiar with the scale of her lifestyle, the expansive residences, the necessary household staff, the international travel, the couture wardrobe, agree on one point: she is unwilling to compromise. Under no circumstances, they claim, will she surrender the luxurious standard of living she has maintained for decades. She is reportedly determined to find someone, whether a partner, benefactor, or patron, with the financial capacity and willingness to support her next chapter, ensuring that the outward trappings of a duchess remain intact even if her formal status continues to decline. A friend of Fergie's, speaking candidly about the seriousness of the situation, shared a striking insight into her current emotional state. Sara has always been a survivor, the friend acknowledged, referencing her history of navigating scandals and financial crises. But this time, she's genuinely frightened. The possibility of fading into obscurity, or worse, running out of money and facing true hardship, is terrifying her. The friend went on to elaborate on her thinking. She's openly telling people that she needs to find a man with real, substantial wealth who can help her keep living the way she's used to. That's her top priority right now. To fully grasp the difficulty of her present situation, one must retrace the events that contributed to this dramatic loss of support and public standing. Sara Ferguson endured months, if not years, of relentless embarrassment following a particularly damaging revelation: the leak of emails exposing her correspondence with financier Jeffrey Epstein, who was already infamous due to his criminal convictions. The fallout from the exposed communications was devastating. The emails appeared to depict a relationship that, at least on paper, seemed closer and more trusting than many within royal circles found acceptable, especially given the increasingly horrific allegations tied to Epstein. The most damaging detail was a widely publicized email in which the Duchess allegedly referred to Epstein as a steadfast, generous, and supreme friend. Attaching such praise to a man internationally condemned for his crimes resulted in immediate and severe reputational harm. The repercussions were swift and far-reaching, exacerbating her already unstable position within the royal establishment. Although she lost the coveted Her Royal Highness title after her divorce from Prince Andrew, she had managed to retain notable public roles and patronages for years afterward. Now, however, intensified financial scrutiny and a deeply tarnished public image have pushed matters to a new level. According to the source material, her remaining formal positions and connections have effectively been removed, symbolizing a final and definitive separation from the institutional structure of the monarchy. While the original text includes a confusing reference to Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie in this context, the clear implication is that Sara Ferguson's residual roles and formal public ties associated with her former royal status have been terminated. According to individuals who claim to be familiar with internal discussions, Sara Ferguson's public image, already considered delicate by commentators, has reportedly deteriorated even further. These unnamed sources suggest that her personal finances may now be facing an unusual degree of scrutiny, raising questions about how the combination of circumstances surrounding her status, public controversies, and changing royal dynamics may be affecting her stability. Those speaking anonymously allege that this convergence of pressures, including the loss of certain privileges, lingering reputational fallout from past associations, and a reduction in institutional support, has brought her to a particularly challenging point in her life. Observers who follow royal affairs frequently note that maintaining a lifestyle historically associated with royal circles is extraordinarily expensive. According to speculative commentary, such a life requires significant, consistent financial support to cover property upkeep, personal security, international travel, and the polished public presence expected of someone who once held a prominent royal-linked role. In response to these perceived pressures, some insiders claim that the Duchess appears to be exploring ways to reshape her public image. Reports describe this attempt as a dramatic rebranding effort, presenting herself as a glamorous, independent woman, a narrative that certain commentators believe is intended to signal resilience, personal renewal, and regained autonomy. However, the anonymous sources contributing to these reports are divided in their interpretations. Some suggest that this reinvention is a sincere effort to step forward into a new chapter, while others speculate that it may be an attempt to attract financial opportunities or high-profile partnerships. One source remarked, "She's presenting it as a powerful fresh start, but some believe it's closer to a financial reset." This distinction, according to the commentators, is significant. A fresh start hints at self-reliance and financial security. A reset, by contrast, implies a need for outside assistance and a dependency on external support to maintain a previously established lifestyle. Those offering these assessments emphasize that they are speaking from interpretation, not direct knowledge of her private decisions. Additional pressure, according to these unnamed observers, stems from the broader implications of being distanced from formal royal structures. They point out that losing institutional ties affects more than ceremonial titles. It can also influence the availability of security arrangements, access to certain residences, and the credibility traditionally associated with proximity to the royal household. Maintaining a high-profile life, they note, can require significant resources, often on the scale of millions rather than thousands each year. Furthermore, ongoing public commentary continues to revisit her past connection to Jeffrey Epstein, a topic that remains controversial. Analysts speculate that this association may limit her ability to secure the kinds of commercial opportunities, public speaking, endorsements, or collaborative ventures that were once accessible. Many brands are reportedly cautious about aligning with public figures linked, however indirectly, to widely condemned scandals. For this reason, some of the anonymous voices quoted in the media argue that the alleged search for a financially stable partner could be seen less as a romantic pursuit and more as a pragmatic effort to ensure long-term financial security. Once again, it must be emphasized that all of these interpretations originate from anonymous or second-hand commentary. None of the claims reflect confirmed statements from Sara Ferguson herself. According to individuals offering commentary on the situation, any potential partner would need to be not only exceptionally wealthy, but also unusually tolerant of public scrutiny, past controversies, and the complicated, ever-present shadow of royal associations. These observers note that Sara Ferguson's long-standing connection to Prince Andrew, who himself has faced ongoing legal and social challenges, may further narrow the field of willing candidates. For a woman in her mid-60s who has spent much of her adult life within high society, the prospect of losing long familiar comforts is described by some sources as profoundly unsettling. The friend who suggested that the idea of slipping into obscurity is haunting her appears to reflect a common theme in commentary about individuals whose identities have been closely tied to status, visibility, and privilege. Losing those elements, these analysts suggest, can feel like a loss of personal meaning. The reported attempt to rebrand herself as a glamorous independent woman is described by these sources as a carefully managed public image, one designed not only to project strength and opportunity, but also to counterbalance the financial vulnerability that, according to speculation, may exist behind the scenes. The market for someone with royal ties, they argue, is extremely limited, and the expectations placed on such a figure are exceptionally high. The entire situation, as framed by insiders and commentators, highlights the precariousness of life on the edges of the monarchy. While entrance into the royal family brings immense visibility and access, departure, especially in the wake of scandal or divorce, can leave individuals facing the realities of the commercial world without the institutional protection they once enjoyed. Some observers believe Sara Ferguson may now be confronting those realities directly. The recurring theme in speculative reports is that she may be hoping for outside support to prevent what she reportedly fears most: long-term financial instability and fading relevance. It is, by any measure, a striking turn of events for someone who once commanded worldwide attention through her marriage alone. The contrast between her former status as the celebrated Duchess of York and her current portrayal, by anonymous sources, as someone searching for a miracle benefactor, resembles the dramatic arc of a royal saga. As we conclude this exploration of the situation as described by various reports, several themes emerge repeatedly across commentary. Anonymous insiders claim she may be facing significant financial pressure. Analysts suggest her public standing has been weakened by past controversies, and unnamed observers speculate that she may be actively seeking substantial financial support, potentially framed as a new relationship, to maintain her lifestyle. Whether these interpretations accurately reflect her private circumstances remains unknown. What is clear is that the sources fueling these narratives highlight a sense of urgency, suggesting that time may be running short and that the hoped-for angel has not yet appeared. What are your thoughts, dear viewers, on this extraordinary and evolving situation? Do you believe the Duchess of York will, as some speculate, successfully find the support she reportedly seeks to secure her future? Or do you think these dramatic accounts reflect years of compounding challenges that may now be catching up with her? Share your insights, thoughts, and historical context in the comment section below. We read every single one of your contributions. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more in-depth